Back again with another TSdL Langrisser match. Again, just like last night, I was not expecting to be streaming this one, but I just got pinged on Discord by Aerinoa. And, figured I'd hop on and stream it. It's going to be another interesting match. So, tonight we've got Aerinoa versus Will Underscore. Both strong players. So they're just getting ready right now. I'm in my friends list, and I don't see either of them in a match yet. I have pinged them both on Discord to remind them to set their spectate mode to on so that I can actually watch the match, since I won't be able to stream it unless I can see them in my interface. So I have done that, and then I'm just waiting for their match to show up. So while I'm waiting for the players, I'll go ahead and get my chats open so I don't miss any of the chat from y'all. If you have any questions or commentary on the gameplay, definitely feel free to leave it in the chat. If you have any predictions or you want to smack talk one of the players, definitely feel free to leave that in the chat as well. So not seeing anything. Will Underscore and Aerinoa are both in my in-game friends list. Hopefully they are both around. I mean, they're both online, so I believe the players will be communicating with themselves as well. I'm just a poor innocent streamer here. I'm not actually responsible for wrangling these players. That's on them. So let's just go ahead and take a quick look at their player cards. So here I am in my friends list. Oh, and the match just started. So let's spectate. Let's start with spectating Aerinoa for the first game, and then we can always switch for the second game. Not like it really matters, since we can't see the danger zone anyway. Okay, so game on. Aerinoa right away dropping the Pop Team Epic emote. So Aerinoa has, so far, looks like a fairly standard meta box. Even Azusa is a pretty meta character now, so this is very standard, something very typical of what you would see in the laddering this season. Will with the insta-ban, first ban Oboro. Oboro's a very strong unit against the style of box that Will plays, so let's jump across here and take a look at Will's box. Will's somewhat well known in the community for playing a bulk god or bulk lord type of box. Death Crystal, by the way, thank you for the sub. Awesome. Glad to see you here. Keeping the Twitch active. So yeah, as I was saying, Will's pretty well known for being one of the original bulk god players. He likes to enchant all of his characters for lots of bulk, lots of sustain, make sure his characters stay alive at all costs. So on Will's side, you can see we do have Christian, a Landius, and a Hilda. We do also have the Rosenseal and the Elma. We also have Mariandel, who's a really good flex healer, and Liana as well. So he's stacked up with tanks, stacked up with healers. And then we have classics like Autocrato, who lends the rest of his team some survivability. He's probably enchanted like crazy. But he has some interesting damaging units as well. So Lucretia's band, he's got his first pick Oboro. Now the interesting thing about Oboro, people typically think of him as like an anti-stall unit, because if you can charge him up enough, he can ignore guard and you can kill those squishy units that the tanks and healers are protecting. But Will is able to use him fairly well by like stalling with Oboro and hanging out and keeping him safe and keeping him protected. So if Will's playing a more stally style game anyway, he's going to be hanging back, keeping that Oboro back with him, and then eventually unleashing him on whatever units Aerinoa has. So we do see Will also has Lostom in his box. I would be very interested to see Will's Lostom. One of the ways that people build him is with Full Moon enchants to make him really durable. So I have a feeling that's probably the direction that Will went with his. I haven't seen him in action. The only Lostoms I've really seen so far were the Lostoms from last night, if they even got played. Oh, Will's Ultimooler is also a good threat. He has a strong Ultimooler and he knows how to play him. It always brings a smile to my face when I see people who have like a good Ultimooler in their box. Tristan, my brother, uses ulti as well, and he's like kind of a marquee character of his. People who have really good Ultimoolers, I just like to see them in action. It's such an interesting unit. Okay, so Will is going kind of with a classic Stolly type box here with Christiane to tank. Mariandel, who's just a really good kind of side healer / AoE utility unit. She can also be difficult to kill herself. Aerinoa is getting... well, he has D-Heart as an assassin. IBC can boost this Azusa. Azusa pretty strong against tanks. But the rest of Aerinoa's units here might struggle against Will. So, I mean, he's got a couple healers if he wants a healer. He's still got access to his tank if he wants a tank. Cherie is going to have a hard time killing Oboro or Mariandel outright. Same thing with T-Jess, like having T-Jess into Christiane. Tricky situation. Will bans her there, I think more for the fact that she is a DPS and she has a teleport. So it really leaves Aerinoa with these strictly defensive units. Yeah, DC, I don't plan on quitting for the foreseeable future. I'm still having too much fun playing this game and too much fun streaming it as well and making videos. It's still fun. Like, it's hard work, obviously, but I don't know. I don't think you can really do it if you don't find some enjoyment in it. I just like learning new stuff, too. Hazuchio, welcome to the stream. Lost him first pick. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that in this first match, but there's still hope for Game 2. Although, to be perfectly honest, with these players' pick and ban, I kind of doubt we're going to see Lost him first pick from either of them. All we can cross our fingers for is that we do get to see Lost him somewhere in the pick ban. Probably not first, but we may get to see Lost him in action. Hopefully. So the players will now just be adjusting their skills and soldiers and formation. Will did manage to pick up some threats here in IBC and Wehttam. And obviously he has that Oboro waiting for a few turns from the start. Now, here's the other thing that's important to remember. Aerinoa doesn't have a tank, right? So there's no pressure on Will to fully charge this Oboro all the way up to 4 stacks. If the time is right, and Will wants to get Oboro into the action, if there's like a dangling kill that he wants to jump in and get, or if he's feeling threatened or backed up, he can launch that Oboro at 2 stacks or 3 stacks. He doesn't need the guard ignore from the last stack. So, yeah, he can just put him in action as a strong DPS whenever. And yeah, I was saying at the very start of this match, Will, well known for playing very survivable, very bulky boxes, but that obviously doesn't preclude him, with his pick and ban line, from getting strong, like, threatening, damaging units as well. So we've got Wehttam, we've got IBC. Yeah, I agree with you, Lord. This is looking like kind of an uphill battle for Aerinoa. He really needs to get some mileage out of, especially this D-Heart. We'll see what this Azusa can do against Christiane, most likely. But Will's definitely not going to be the kind of player who, like, accidentally gets too ambitious and leaves one of his units out of safety. Freed, welcome to the stream. We are now congregating together. So we've got a faction buff, and we've got a Miracle on this Rosen. We've got the typical Angel Shadow Raid. D-Heart has his mini faction buff. Normal looking Azusa. So Mariandel, no Phalanxes, but she does have the Crystal Warlocks, so certainly potential to counterkill a D-Heart. She is, like, dangerously reflective with those. We do have the Air Slash on the Wehttam, front-lined as well. So Will may be looking to get an early pick with this Wehttam, if he's feeling a little opportunistic. He's got the Barbarian Warriors on there as well. So Oboro already found his home on this forest tile here. It's going to be difficult to get him off there pre-transformation. Yeah, that's a good eye, Firebrand. We're looking at a Ham here who has less than 800 attack. Possibly had some gear stolen for the Ragnarok of the Realms. If Will was working on that PvP mode and needed to borrow some gear. Will. 8,000 HP on this, oh no. I wonder if Will has recognized that now. Yeah, DC, I've been warning all the people in any of the Discords that I'm in. I said before Saturday, don't forget to put your equipment back on. Oboro at least does have his stats, so these are Oboro stats, for sure. Mariandel definitely has her stats. Christiane has her stats, so unfortunately this Wehttam is probably just going to be getting in the way. I mean, he can still put Wehttam stacks on people if they die, so he doesn't really need equipment for that. Although the Rosen is... yeah, the Rosen is going to prevent that too, so... I mean, the Wehttam probably not going to be too much of a factor here. Man, let's take another look at Aerinoa's units, just to make sure. Now, it looks like he's all set up. It looks like he came prepared. I think technically, according to TSdL Langrisser rules, they are allowed to change their stuff between matches. So even though for convenience sake they tend to play these best of 3 like Apex duels, if Will really wanted to, they could back out after this match and he could double check his unit's gear, and then they could go back into another match. They may decide to do that if they're communicating about it on Discord together. Hopefully Will recognizes that and he's not a little too bashful to propose that idea. So we do have Aerinoa looking to get into position. He's got turn priority for the beginning of next turn to launch his attack. Yeah, down a unit, more or less. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the main crux of this battle now is whether Aerinoa can crack through Will's defenses. You know, he's got a couple assassins here. He does need to be able to one-shot these units, or at least like two-shot them if he wants to double up, and then get skills back. I really want to see what this Azusa can do. brought horses, so her primary target is definitely looking to be Christiane. I mean, that's who she's going to be hitting anyway. She doesn't guard ignore. Yeah, I kind of want to see what the Wehttam does. Let's see the true depths of Will's strategic mastery of what he can do with this limitation. I mean, obviously the other thing he can do is throw down an Alhazard to at least kind of body block. Okay, Oboro, that's the easy thing to do. Make sure you get your Oboro stack. He's going to be sitting there anyway, so... Aerinoa with a really nice line here. Let's line it up under his name. This is the kind of thing that annoys those people who get annoyed by movie posters, where the actors are on the poster but their names are listed along the top and they're not in the same order that they appear on the poster. You know those people? Maybe you are one of those people. Alright, so here goes nude ham. This is just raw ham. Alright, he's got a boost. He's almost up to 1,000 attack here. What's the game plan, ham? Okay. So, at least getting some utility out of Ham, he does take off Azusa's damage reduction shield. So that's something. I don't think Will has any immediate follow-up that can take advantage of that to actually kill her right now. Okay, so the ham is off the table. She only has to use one more skill to get her shield back. She has to get hard. Now, Will gets to decide whether he wants to stay back here and weather this storm for another couple turns. Will was just saying in the Discord earlier that he's pretty happy with his laddering box this season. Now, I'm not sure whether the box we're seeing in this tournament is the same box he's been using for the regular season in Apex Arena. Not sure about that. But he also said that he's comfortable with his laddering box this season. He just has to now get better at playoff-style matches. And this is more or less a playoff-style match, and certainly gearing your characters is one consideration. One thing to think about. I don't know if Ding's in the chat. Might be too late at night for him where he's located. But he often likes to tune in to watch Will endure hardships. So this is the kind of... at least the early parts of this match are something that Ding would thrive on and enjoy. Now, mind you, obviously Aerinoa is not out of the woods yet. He does have to kill Will's units. If it comes to a battle for mid, Aerinoa's in slightly worse a position. He does have a healer for possible sustain, but there's nothing really stopping Will's IBC and Oboro from just picking off Aerinoa's units one at a time. Yeah, Ding's in the UK right now, so it's like 2:30 in the morning over there. I'm not sure what his sleep schedule's like, but tomorrow's Monday, so I assume he has a job. Maybe. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he works weird hours. Yeah, Ding's a fun dude. He definitely dings Freed a lot, but he also says in main chord that he enjoys Freed a lot, so who doesn't, right? Freed's one of those guys that you have fun razzing them, but they're just generally good dudes. Okay, Will's still staying back. He's inviting Aerinoa to make the first move. He's also slightly trying to protect this Oboro a little bit. Firebrand with the blatant disrespect right to Freed's face. OMG. Don't tell me I'm gonna need to get a mod for this channel soon. So Aerinoa at some point has to take a pot shot at one of these units. Will's basically inviting it at this point. Yeah, Freed, you gotta call it Righteous Feed, though. Not even kidding, I've been tempted for a while to start another series on my channel that's not Lang related, called Deconstruction. I have a few big Lego sets, and I thought it would be pretty fun to, like, you know, people like to watch, like, time lapses of putting Lego together, but I thought it would be kind of cool to have, like, a big, fully constructed Lego set and do a stream or a video of taking it all apart to kind of fulfill that, the primal urge to, like, destroy something that's already beautiful and existing. You know, just tear down, like, a huge, I don't know, a huge Voltron or something. Yeah, Lego makes a really satisfying noise, too. That's a good point, Maybari. What's interesting here is we don't have a real engagement yet. And both players are already down to like half their backup time. Alright, Will is moving proceedings along kind of in an interesting way. Azusa has her shield back up. Oh, okay. I guess he can move IBC back to safety. I was gonna say, that feels a little bit wasteful if he couldn't do that. So he does have another skill left on her, so he could try that again next turn to seal the deal. It's that sweet, sweet endurance formation, letting him move again there. Okay, so Cherie comes in, stuns the tank. She doesn't get to go again because she was too close to multiple units. So that was purely just a one-off tank stun gambit. Assuming Cherie's still alive next turn, she will be able to use her double attacks next turn because she's in deep here and she'll be able to set herself up for the double move. So yeah, stunning the tank, that does open up IBC. It also opens up the Azusa to come in and hit whoever she wants. Doesn't really play a big role for the D-Heart. So that AoE, not too devastating, thanks to Rosen's healing. Alright, now here comes the IBC. Who's she gonna take? IBC and Mariandel are the options. IBC is the safest person to attack Mariandel with, because she doesn't need to worry about the Crystal Warlocks reflecting damage back at her. So Mariandel and all of Will's healing off the table now. Yeah, DC's right, that also opens up this lane to Oboro, if Aerinoa wants to pursue that now. Will might be feeling the pinch a little too much to risk standing with this Oboro now. He might need to activate him. In fact, I think he does need to activate him. D-Heart's coming. The question for Will is going to be, can Oboro survive that D-Heart? I think he wants to kill this IBC regardless. Ooh. IBC on terrain, also stripped a buff. Here comes the D-Heart, let's see what he can do. He's not gonna kill it. Interesting positioning on that. So he didn't stun the IBC or the Oboro. Alright, so Will does get the IBC off the table. He also gets some secondary healing from this Gift of Eternal Life, helping get Oboro back up into shape. D-Heart's attack skills are down. Cherie still has her double attack potential, but she has to bounce off someone. She can't get a double attack if she's opening on Oboro. Like, she would have to attack this first and then go into Oboro, and she doesn't have her 3C up either. So the Azusa is kind of the main active DPS threat here right now, and she also doesn't have her shield and benefits up. Will with that defensive Oboro. Cherie can get a double attack off on Oboro now, but he's back up to 80% health, so I'm not sure what injured Cherie's really gonna do here with one Shadow Raid and then one auto attack. Well, she didn't go for it anyway. She basically just dumps the Shadow Raid into this. That might have been just to keep chip damage on these soldiers since their healing is limited? I don't know. Yeah, Oboro could have definitely counter-killed it. Especially with her at 45% health. Not worth the risk. That's the other thing about Oboro, is he's a scary enough unit now, you have to consider whether you even can safely attack into him. Okay, so Will's tank is back up. He is back to the fog, though. So that's going to be something he's going to have to start breaking formation to get into the mid here, or just have confidence in being able to kill Aerinoa's units in the next couple turns. His IBC has no skills, so she's just going to auto-attack straight into this D-Heart. A D-Heart on Forest. She's able to heal back, though, so it's kind of a low-risk attempt for her. I'm just going to quickly, now that the match is on, I remembered that I didn't post that this was streaming on TSdL or main cord, so I'll go do that right now. Funny, people are talking in main court about the match. But I didn't post the link, so a bunch of the quiet lurkers in there may not have had the opportunity to actually come and watch. So hopefully they'll join us now. Hopefully we'll get quiet lurkers. I did post the Luxid match yesterday in main court, at least. I forgot to post it in the TSdL server, because I'm usually not actively posting there. Will's Oboro is broken. Well, part of the problem with the Oboro is 2 stacks. But maybe the gear's messed up too. Like, we saw what happened with Will's Wehttam. We don't know for sure that this has the proper gear on. Genova, welcome. You are just at the kind of tail end of the first game, so we don't have a match in the books yet. This one is still kind of hard to say exactly where it's going. Aerinoa seems to have the advantage right now. Will is almost out of backup time. He's not been able to put much of a dent in Aerinoa's units with this Oboro. But he is looking to set up a combo here. So he's damaging like Cherie, and then hopefully getting some follow-up from the IBC afterwards. She does have a skill up now. Christian's revive is down. IBC not necessarily stuck. If that Cherie went down, then he could get out on the next turn when the fog came up. But Will throws in the towel. DC, I don't know, did you message Will and Aerie or post in TSdL to let Will know he's allowed to change his gear before the next match starts? Because someone might want to remind him that that's the case. Someone might want to remind him. Oh, that's only for group stages. For elims, you have to stay in the best of 3 format. Yeah, I have a feeling we're not going to be seeing Wehttam in action here now. But psychologically, the impact of that is Will has to be wondering what the rest of his units have on gear-wise. If his ham is nude, who else is nude? Who else is missing important gear? So we'll see if either player goes to the side box. The interesting thing about that Wehttam, too, is that he was 5th pick. So Aerinoa left him up all that time. Maybe he had secret inside knowledge that Will had unequipped him. Okay, so we are just waiting for box adjustments. Most of this time ticking down here is probably Will looking through his box to see what fits in exchange for Wehttam. I don't really see Aerinoa changing much about his box. Aerie also doesn't have Lostem at all, so the only Lostem that we may potentially see is this one from Will. And of all people, I'm very intrigued to see what Will's Lostem looks like. Okay, so he sends Epsilon down as well. And he brings up Lewin and Michelle. So Lewin, very popular Bulk Lord. Michelle, another AoE unit, so Will has a bit more of an AoE tilt here. With Lucretia, Michelle, Mariandel, Autocrato, Lewin with his AoE. And going with the first ban, Oboro once again, knowing what a headache that Oboro can be for his box. So, smart. Maybari, by the way, thanks for the follow. I got a little bit into the last game, so I didn't get a chance to acknowledge your follow while the match was going on, but now's the time. Now's your time, Maybari. Thank you. So we've got a new follower today, we've got a new subscriber today, maybe we'll get one new donor today. Banana time! Thanks for the follow. It is banana time. It's often banana time. If anyone has been following my channel for a while and feels like they need to offer a little bit of pecuniary incentive, then feel free to drop a tip my way, drop a donation my way. Happy to keep doing what I do. Definitely donations are not required for me to continue enjoying Langrisser or making content, but it's always nice and encouraging, you know? To feel wanted by the internet. So Aerinoa getting his first pick IBC definitely makes sense with his box. He has lots of units who can benefit from that extra mobility. Will's Lucretia banned, so I really want to see what direction Will goes here. First pick Oboro again, so even though Oboro was, I want to say, underwhelming in the last game, part of it was because Will got backed into a corner and basically forced to transform him with 2 stacks. Sticking with the game plan, he's going to try to play another bulky defensive team and keep this Oboro protected long enough to be able to unleash his full offensive potential. Aerinoa with an early pick Lucretia, knowing that a Will Christian pick is almost certainly coming here next. And if Aerinoa wants to follow what he did last time, then that will be banning out the true healers and leaving Will with only Mariandel as his healer of choice. Okay, so Aerinoa following the same plan so far. There he gets his own ham out. He is threatening to Christians. One of the stronger strippers right now. Yes, theoretically at least, fully equipped ham. We don't actually know that yet, Death Crystal. We'll have to wait and get into the game and see what this ham actually looks like. So Aerie with his Cherie again. She definitely managed to survive very nicely in the last game. Unfortunately, there goes that Lostum. Lost to a ban. We won't be seeing any Lostum in tonight's match. Will still has some threatening options, though. The Ultimuller a little bit less appealing because I think he would have to buff himself here. Who does Will usually get to buff the Ultimuller? Rosenseal, I guess? He's whipping him out anyway. And Aerinoa again with the choice between a healer or a tank. Both slow-ish options, not full offensive teams like what we saw last night with Luxid and Winkleman. And we'll see what Will has to choose from. I think Aerinoa still goes with Rosen just because he's going to be leaving up an AoE unit. Yeah, so that it does neuter Autocrato a little bit. Autocrato's main purpose here against a team with Rosen would really be maybe a scramble to get a unit closer in range that he can maybe get a beneficial position for his Ultimuller. Michelle with a little bit more natural AoE damage. The other thing Autocrato can do is just add some general bulk to the team as well with his talent aura. Yeah, Death Crystal, you know me. I had a very fully rationalized, like, etymological explanation for why that's the correct way to pronounce his name. It's in main chord somewhere. I'm going to have to look it up if I want to explain it again. It's just me being a word nerd. But I'm not the kind of grammar nerd that polices how other people actually pronounce things. Do whatever you find fun. So we are going to wait for both players now to position their units, to select their skills, to select their soldiers. I thought Simp Boy was more Clotaire's thing. Both players letting this get right down to the wire while they change all their gear. Not their gear, will wishes. Change all their skills. Do we get to see on this interface what covenants they selected? We don't, do we? Yeah, that's fair, I guess, DC. Although, from my limited understanding of the story between Lucretia and Autocrato, he was basically kind of like brainwashed or manipulated or almost enslaved to do what Lucretia wanted, so it wasn't really because he was smitten, it was more because he's like a useful puppet. Alright, let's take a look at what we actually have here. I don't expect many surprises from Aerinoa. The ham at least looks like it has equipment on. We're going double AoE on this Lucretia. Which makes sense. This is not an AoE ham, also makes sense. He's going for the strips on Christian. So yeah, AoE on the Luke, kind of hoping that the Mariendel can't keep up healing that. So Ultimuller does obviously have his buff, he needs it, he needs a buff. Otto also brought Iron Fist, which is interesting because it shows that Will is preparing in advance for the possibility of Christian's guard being stripped. So he does have a backup physical tank. He's not going to be guarding against IBC or Lucretia, but it's better than nothing against Ham and Cherie's normal attacks. And other than that, everything else looks pretty normal. IBC is stripper as well, so Aerinoa does have the buff strip combo. That's, you know, every tank's nightmare is being hit with the 1-2 punch of buff stripping. And the Lucretia does have Dark Reaper as a single target option, just in case the guard comes down. So she'll be able to kind of pick a target, see if maybe she can kill the Ultimuller. Maybe kill the Oboro? But Aerinoa is going to have to time that properly. So not super damaging from Otto. You can see that Aerinoa's team is still full. Not getting debuffed from it. The best Otto gets out of that is stealing a couple buffs, including Crystal Healing, so that looks nice. He also pulled Lucretia, not like he can follow up on this right now, but it's interesting to note for the future that he pulled Lucretia out of revive range from Vance. So if that happened at a more opportune moment when Will had some follow-up, that's just something that all Lucretia players have to look out for against autos. The scramble screwing up your revive positioning. Did I get the Transcender Lotto? DC? Of course I got the Transcender Lotto. Of course I did. I'm going to be the game's numero uno Transcender content consumer. It's a pretty sick skin, actually. I like the EOL skin, the portrait. Looks super cool. I just like that, like, classic Greek Roman god type figure. But the sprite on the new skin is the bomb. And obviously, you know, if you see me on Discord at all, I use my classic modified version of the new skin, where I put Gizarov's original OG old man head on it. So new skin with old man beard. It's my aesthetic. Okay, so Aerinoa is opening proceedings with that black hole. Actually, super damaging AoE. Mariandel left to act, so we'll see exactly what she can do in terms of healing this off. Otto's guard is off the table thanks to debuffs. Passive block and heal block on the Christian. Heal block on the Oboro as well. Can't receive buffs. I think his transformation is not affected by that. Yeah. But what Will needs to be concerned about here is the AoE combo. So he needs to be able to get himself in good enough shape to be able to survive the Heaven's Sanction that's coming up very soon. Ham can actually jump in on this combo as well. Okay, so Otto still low. Christian not exactly low, but you don't really want your tank being hurt. So let's see if Aerinoa is going to move on this Wehttam, or if he's going to wait until next turn, early in the next turn. No, he's going to go now. No reason not to, really. It's going to force Will to respond. Will's going to be kind of on his heels a little bit, too, because even if his response is basically... Okay, so that's one life off the Christian. And this Ham is tucked in quite nicely there, right? So the Ultimuller can't actually get him, unless he wants to scoop him. There's 2 units here. But the thing I was saying before about Will being kind of on his heels for the beginning of the next turn is he knows no matter what he does with Ultimuller here, he's got that Heaven's Sanction coming up. Now, Aerinoa may not open this turn with Heaven's Sanction, but Will knows that there's a Heaven's Sanction coming. It might not be first thing, but it's coming. This Chris is deeply in trouble. And Aerie, with turn priority, gets to basically decide what he wants to do with this turn. Does he want to go after this Ultimuller? He certainly can. Single target with Lucretia. Lucretia's Reaper. Ultimuller, not the strongest against magic. Vampire Bats, definitely not the strongest against magic. He's outside of Christian's guard range. She can attack without being negatively impacted by Otto's aura. He's not on terrain. The only thing he really has going for him right now is Last Rites. And I'm not sure if this Lucretia's on Twilight Star or not. So Aerie has a choice. He could also choose to crack Rites with an AoE here. Oh no, he is going for the single target kill, and he does get it. Last Rites doesn't matter at all. Yeah, that was the right play for Aerie, and it takes 50% of Will's meaningful DPS off the table. So Will's decision now is, can he get himself healed up? Is now the right time to get himself healed up, or can he do anything about this Wehttam that's sitting in his face? Mariandel can't kill it, but that is incidental healing, so we knew she wasn't getting healed regardless. Autocrato back in decent shape. He doesn't really have anything else he can do, though. You know, Autocrato, especially like a largely defensive Autocrato like this, not going to be the most useful unit. He can't even move in terms of single attacks. So he's pretty much just sitting there being a debuff aura until his skills come back. If Will can be patient, if he can afford to be patient, I mean, obviously we have an IBC and a Cherie coming in. Will's moving in such a way to protect this Oboro, so that he can't just be range hit. If Will can be patient, he doesn't need his whole team to be alive. He just needs Oboro to be at full power. If he can activate that Oboro with enough stacks, then we should be able to see a bit more damaging Dragon Boy than what we saw in the last game. Oh, I spoke too soon. He's just going for it. He's going for it at 2 stacks. He needed to get him out there. Not even enough to kill an injured Wehttam with no sword. Oh, he has the follow-up, that's fine, but... I mean, obviously he gets him off the table, but that's got to be discouraging to see that kind of damage for Will. What are you going to do against a full health Cherie, for example? Christiane down. Ambitious Princess activate. Decides to charge right into the auto just to get him injured. Kind of interesting. Well, DC, it's kind of like I said at the very beginning of the first match. Will has a different Oboro that is kind of used for a different purpose. It's definitely not like an attack-oriented Oboro with, you know, a fully loaded magic kit. It's more based around surviving. I think that's game. Yep. No way Will had any chance with what he had left there against a largely magical team on Aerinoa's side. So, a bit unfortunate about Game 1 with the unequipped Wehttam. That game might have changed with gear. It definitely would have been a more interesting match. But, GG's to both players. Will played a version of his style. Aerinoa, I haven't seen tons of Aerinoa games, so I was very interested in seeing his style of play. Yeah, nice adaptability, and congrats for moving on to the top 32 in the Summit Dare Langrisser. Will, better luck next time. Round of 64, certainly a respectable finish. Better than, nice higher position than Old Kong has ever attained in that tournament. So definitely nothing to scoff at. Thanks to both players for providing us with excellent Apex Arena entertainment this evening. And speaking of which, I think I may go into my little peaceful den and maybe get some Apex Arena matches of my own done. So thanks everyone for coming out and watching. Thanks for supporting the stream. Thanks for supporting Summit Dare Langrisser and the players. I'm sure they all appreciate having you out here and commenting on their matches. I will catch you all in the next one. Happy Langrissing, everyone.